Welcome everybody to the New Spanish Academy. Hello everyone, this is the New Spanish Academy once again. Another freestyle Spanish lesson where I'm gonna freestyle a lesson for you. Alright, so I think it was the previous lesson, we were looking at the phrase what was the phrase now? Ya llegó la hora, which is time has now come, or time has come, right? So there is a similar phrase that I want to teach you that it's very similar, all right? And there is a little difference, so don't get confused. It is both similar in the way it's written, but it's also similar in its meaning, in its expression, right? And it is ya era hora, all right? So here the difference is this right here. Ya llegó la hora, time has come, y ya era hora. The difference here is that ya era hora means it's about time. It's about time, all right? So when we say it's about time, it's like we've been waiting, you are late, this was expected, and finally it's about time, okay? And here we have time has come, okay? It's more like it's been earned when we say time has come. Time, it's for a thing to happen, right? We finally made it, time has come, we reached A, B, C, D, E to arrive to G and so on, right? And it's about time is like we already arrived to, Z long ago. Why? Time has already come. Why hasn't the result arrived? Okay? So when time comes, you expect the result to arrive, right? But it doesn't arrive. Okay, time has come. The result should arrive. Time has come. We start learning Spanish because time has come to finally open the book because you were busy at work. You were busy, wasting time in other schools that didn't teach you Spanish, but now you're in the New Spanish Academy because time has come. Okay? And you've been learning, and you feel that you are not progressing. And it's about time. Now finally it's about time. Like, finally. Okay? Ya era hora. Okay? I like to joke and say, well, maybe it's not a joke, but I like to say, ya llegó la hora del que siempre se demora. It's just a little bit of a rhyme now that we are in the freestyle Spanish lesson. So, ya llegó la hora del que siempre se demora. I made this up just because this thing here rhymes, okay? Ya llegó la hora del que siempre se demora. Okay. That's not good. It means time has come for the one that's always late. Ya llegó la hora del que siempre se demora. So I'm always late and now it's time. Time has come for the one that's always late. Ya llegó la hora. Right? For example, everybody made it, everybody succeeded, and now finally it's time for you to succeed. And you are always late. So you can say, ya llegó la hora del que siempre se demora. Okay? You are known for being late. So if you have any Spanish speaking friends, you tell them this. Ya llegó la hora del que siempre se demora. And if you say it fast, the better. Okay? And here is ya era hora. Finally. Ya era hora. Okay? So let's make a couple sentences here. Okay, so ya era hora de que. All right, we're gonna leave it here because this is gonna be basically the structure. Ya era hora de que entiendas. It was finally time for you to understand. Okay? Ya era hora de que entiendas. Ya era hora de que tengas éxito. All right? It was time for you to not be excited. Éxito means to have success. Ya llegó la hora de que tenga suerte. All right? So these are different sentences here. So ya llegó la hora de que entiendas is for you to understand. If you say ya llegó la hora de que entienda, it's time for that I would understand or that he or she would understand. How do I know he or she? Because it's entienda, it could be he or she or it could be I. So this is basically a tense that's basically non-existent tense, right? It's should be, could be, would be, ought to be, or there's doubt. So it was time for you to would understand. It's basically how we would say this in English, or how we say it in Spanish, okay? Same here. Ya llegó la hora de que tenga suerte, because you know that tengo suerte is I am lucky. But if I say tenga, is I would have luck. Ya llegó la hora de que tenga suerte. Ya llegó la hora de que me haga rico. All right, it would be time for me to make myself rich. All right, or you can say llegó la hora de que me vuelva rico. So vuelva is turn rich, for me to turn rich, to make myself rich, que me haga rico, que me vuelva rico, turn myself rich or become rich. In Italian is diventare, if you have studied Italian, okay? So let's see here. This is what we're learning today. Ya llegó la hora. We can also say simply, ya llegó la hora de aprender español. Okay, so what we have here is different tenses, okay? So here we have haga, tenga, which is the same tense, is the wishful, non-existent, doubtful, should, would, could be tense, to put it that way. And here is aprender. Remember, when the tense has an ar, er at the end, it is infinitive. Basically, it means that it's the tense that we find in the dictionary. Ya llegó la hora de aprender español. So, what you should figure out, if you didn't already, is that we can either say, ya llegó la hora de qué, ya llegó la hora, right, so we take this away, ya llegó la hora, so, ya llegó la hora de que tenga suerte, or we can say, ya llegó la hora de aprender. Okay, so you see the difference here? The difference here is that when we say de que, then we follow with this tense, tenga, pueda, cante, juegue, and so on. And here is, when we only have de, then we say de aprender español, de jugar al fútbol, to play football, de what else? De prestar atención, okay? So, prestar atención means pay attention. In English, we say pay as paying money, paying a fee. In Spanish, we say borrow. We say we borrow attention. In English, you pay the attention. In Spanish, you borrow the attention. And it is interesting. It means that in Spanish, it's free. And in English, the attention costs. Because to have the attention, you need to be entertaining. All right? So you entertain a situation. That's when you pay attention. All right? So we're talking about entertain. All of a sudden, we just went there. In Spanish is entretener. So entertain in Spanish is entretener. Okay? And So, entertain in Spanish is entretener. And entre sounds similar to the word enter, but it's not. It's not enter. Or actually, interesting. It can be enter, actually. It can be enter if I tell you to enter imperatively. It is enter. Okay, so let's change this. It's very interesting here, right? So, imperative. It is enter. If I say entre usted, enter you, you can enter. But the word entre also means between, which is what I was thinking about in the beginning. So entre means between. That's why I said it's not enter, but it can be enter. Craziness. That's why I love languages, because we think about one thing and there is this crazy connections, right? So entre means enter. Entre also means between. All right. So entre el bien y el mal, between good and evil. Entre el bien y el mal. All right. You maybe have heard that. I don't know. Entre el bien y el mal. We can also say entre tú y yo, between you and I, okay? So, this is the meaning between. Between the good and the bad. Sorry. Entre tú y yo, between you and I. You y no, tú y yo is you and I. El bien y el mal is the good and the bad. Okay. Now, if I say entre nomás. Just enter. Enter nomás. No se preocupe. Just enter. Don't get preoccupied. Don't preoccupy yourself. Okay, that's how we say in Spanish. Instead of saying don't worry, we say don't preoccupy yourself. No se preocupe. No se preocupe. Entre nomás. And this is when we're talking to usted, right? Usted is basically you, but formally. And if I'm telling it to you, now we're going somewhere else, we say entra. Tú, you, nomás. All right? So, we have here entra nomás, no se preocupe. All right? All right, so we're going all directions. All right, we have here entre el bien y el mal, entre tú y yo, between you and I. And all this because we were looking at the word entretener. To be continued. To be continued. What do I mean? I mean that we're going to the new whiteboard. Sorry, a new green board. Okay, because we need more space. We need more space for this. Okay, so entretener. Entretener means to entertain. Okay, now we know what the word entre means from the verb entrar, which means to enter. So remember, ar is the ending of the verbs in infinitive form, meaning how we find it in the dictionary. Didn't I just tell this here? Yes, aprender, to learn, aprender. Okay, so we have ya era hora, it was about time, de que tenga suerte. For me or for him or she to have luck. Ya era hora de que me haga rico, for me to make myself rich. Ya llegó la hora de que me vuelva rico, for me to turn, to become rich. Okay, ya llegó la hora de aprender español. It was about time, finally, to learn Spanish. Ya era hora de prestar atención, to pay attention, all right? But we say to borrow attention, to lend attention, right? So, and from here, prestar, we thought about pay, and you pay attention when something is entertaining, and when something is entertaining, the word entertain comes from entretener, okay? Which is a Latin word. and we are here, back to the square 2. So, entretener, to entertain. Entre comes from the word, I'm gonna do like this, the word entrar, to enter, or from the word entre comes from the word between. We already know that. Why are you writing it again? To fill in the gap. So now we have the word tener, which means to have. To have as is it right like this? Possession. I have this. Not as in have done, but as in have a car. Possession. Having. Okay. Where are we getting to? Do you get where we are getting to? All right. So we have here entre tener. So can we argue that this means between having? All right, we're just playing philosophy right now, okay? Now, this, I don't know if this is really helping you with the Spanish, but this is, for me, one of the reasons why I like languages, because I do this in all languages and I get crazy, and I find some type of meanings behind it and connections, associations that people don't ever get, and I usually see them right away. And some people say, like, how do you even see that? Are you crazy? But here we are. So we have here entretener, between having. So to have it, you lend or pay attention. You pay attention. To have it, you pay. Between having it. So you're not really having it, you are between having it. So you are not really gonna, possess it physically, but you are going to see it, listen to it, pay mind to it, spend time. So between having it, almost having it, just looking at it, just listening at it, listen to it, and for that, you cannot just have something for free. So in Spanish, you lend your attention. Okay, so prestar atención, okay? Prestar atención. In English, pay attention. All right. So pay attention can be also something that a teacher will tell you in class and say something like, pay attention, pay attention. Now, then we don't say prestar atención. If a teacher tells you pay attention, what is he doing? He's giving you some type of an order. Again, remember, when we're giving an order, we go to the imperative form. We tell somebody to do something. It doesn't mean that he will, but the way we are saying it is imperatively for them to say it. So when a teacher says pay attention, in Spanish it would be presta. I write to. Presta atención. Okay. If it's usted, is preste usted atención. And if it's many people, then it is presten ustedes atención. All right. And if it's many people, but it's not, but you're in Spain, let's say, then in Spain they say prestad. Vosotros atención. All right. Oh. Okay. Look where we ended here. Okay? So, pay attention. Prestar atención is pay attention in general. Okay? So I can say, Ustedes tienen que, you guys have to, prestar atención. So in this case, we say prestar atención. But if I just say pay attention, then I say presta atención, preste atención, presten atención, prestad atención. Alright? Now, I like this particular phrase right here because it will help you in many other cases, right? So, you guys have to, ustedes tienen que estudiar cada día. You guys have to study every day. You can also say estudiar todos los días. You guys have to study all of the days. Basically, not the whole day, but every day. All days. Okay? So, cada día is each day. Todos los días is all of the days. Okay? Ustedes tienen que vivir una vida, live a life saludable. Live a life healthy. Live a healthy life is what that means, okay? Ustedes tienen que suscribirse a mi canal. You guys have to subscribe to my channel. Ustedes tienen que entrar a mi curso de español. You guys have to enter to my course, my Spanish course, my course of Spanish. Ustedes tienen que hablar mejor que el resto. All right? Speak better than the rest. All right? Ustedes tienen que hablar mejor que el resto. Now I'm going to teach you something similar. Ustedes tienen que hablar mejor que los demás. Basically, this here, both of them means than the rest. Okay. Que los demás means than the others. Hablar mejor que el resto, hablar mejor que los demás. Okay. All right. So, finally, it's about time to go back to where we got started. It's about time is ya era hora. Ya era hora. It's about time de regresar. To come back. All right. So we do like this. Ya era hora de regresar. Ya era hora de repetir. So repetir means repeat. Basically, what we're doing right now, we're repeating some sentences that we started long time ago. Ya era hora de repetir. Ya era hora de regresar. Ya era hora de aprender. It was time to learn. But remember, there was another one here. We have both era hora, ya era hora de, and we also have de que. Remember that when we have de, then the verb is infinitive. It finishes with aprender. So it's about time to learn. And then we have ya era hora de que. It's about time that of, or something like this. That to, de que. Regresen. All right. It was about time to return, to come back. All right. So I'm going to do this right now to finalize the lesson. All right. We're going to finalize like this. Finalize it like this. Finalize it like this. So basically, the two different versions on the left and on the right. ¿De qué? Ya era hora de qué. Alright. Ya era hora de que regresen. Ya era hora de que repitan. Ya era hora de que aprendan. Alright. So see the difference here? ¿De qué? Like this. All right. De regresar, de que regresen. De repetir, de que repitan. De aprender, de que aprendan. Now, you will not remember, I don't expect you to remember Was it regression? Was it like a Danish last name Andersen, like Peterson? Regression, is it like because it's the last name or something? No, it's just a tense that ends like this. Okay, so you might not remember exactly how it ends and what tense it is. If you want to know exactly the tenses and how they work, you should go to the membership, you should go to the verb course, and I'm gonna drill everything. There's like videos, they are about an hour per verb, and then I go through the most important tenses, and I do basically one example per tense. Okay, there's gonna be like 100 verbs in this course if they are not already recorded. Depends on when you see this video. Okay, so right now it's in progress actually. Anyways, we have here, ya era hora de regresar, ya era hora de que regresen, ya era hora de repetir, ya era hora de que repitan, ya era hora de aprender, ya era hora de que aprendan. So remember, one has de que, and then it has this weird form, which is should, would, could, right? And here is the infinitive form, basically infinitive, the one we find in the dictionary, de aprender. Okay, so here is in general. It does not specify who should return, who should repeat, who should learn, but here it specifies ya era hora de que regresen. All right, it's talking about you guys or them, ustedes or ellos, to return. Ya era hora de que repitan, you guys or them, to repeat. Ya era hora de que aprendan, you guys or them, to learn. Okay, how do we know? Because if I say ya era hora de que regrese, it can be for me, I tell it about myself, or for he or she. If I tell it about you, ya era hora de que regreses, I'm telling it to you. If I say ya era hora de que repitas, I'm telling it to you. Ya era hora de que aprendas, I'm telling it to you, only to you. All right? So, I think you at least will remember this one, ya era hora. It's about time. Was about time. Okay? The New Spanish Academy with another freestyle lesson. Very, very loco. Very crazy. Muy loco. Alright, so I hope you liked it. We're going all over the place. I start freestyling a little bit about the specific word for the day, and then I start making connections, going somewhere else, giving you more examples, so you learn a lot. Like they say in Russian, насыщенный, very, very filling, alright? Has a little bit of everything, very complete. So, nos vemos en el próximo video. Thank you very much for being here. Muchas gracias. Esta es la nueva Academia de Español. See you in our next video.